This is given by the Delhi government, and on the bookshop you can get this book. I request all of you to get a copy of Standard Treatment Guidelines. Maybe the PDF is also available online. Just check in Standard Treatment Guidelines, and there the treatment modalities of all the basic conditions are mentioned. So the treatment which is being given in the ward and the treatment which is given in the standard treatment guidelines, you can compare it. And if you find any difference, you can write down in the practical files. So the aim of this particular rational pharmacotherapeutic exercise, the taking up the project, is to study the management of patients in the indoor setup, that is hospital, right? So that is the main. Please look at. We are not saying the treatment of patient, the management. Management is a holistic term which includes the communication part, the rational pharmacotherapeutics, then come the drugs part. And after drug, the monitoring part also. So it's a big umbrella. And the drug part or the treatment part is just a small segment of this management exercise. So here the aim is to study the management of patients in the indoor setup, and then it has got different objectives. The most important objective is management of specific condition. Could be any disorder, any disease. What is the management of specific condition? Then whatever the drugs are prescribed, are they rationally prescribed? That becomes your second objective, rationality for the treatment prescribed. So you have now knowledge of most of the drugs and most of the condition. And subsequent lectures, you will be taught of hormones and other diseases linked to hormonal disorders as well as the CNS disorders. So you can relate accordingly. Third objective is to select the appropriate medicine. So you have 3 or 4 classes on P medicine. So whatever the treatment is being given in the hospital, you can make your own chart and find out the P medicine, and then see the conclusion drawn by you people is in match with the treatment being given in the ward or not. Then the fourth objective is monitor. Now the job of doctor is not over just by writing some drugs on a piece of paper. That is prescription. No. You have written a set of drugs, the patient starts taking that drug, then you have to monitor the case. Maybe the patient is improving or not, right? Or maybe he's deteriorating. It could be anything. Or maybe he's developing some ADR with a drug. So all this comes under the monitoring part. So after prescribing the drugs, you are supposed to monitor the patient for the improvement, whether your treatment is working or not. Then you have to compare the treatment mentioned in standard treatment guidelines with the treatment given in the wards. Although they are always in sync, little bit of difference may happen. That depends upon the patient characteristics only. So when we will practically go to the wards, see the treatment chart, it will be easy to understand and learn the various drugs. If you keep on reading the drugs from the textbook without seeing the patient, there will be difficulty in relating. Let's say you see a patient of diabetes or angina in the ward and read the drugs given in the treatment chart. So you can picturize the patient, how the patient was undergoing the various signs and symptoms, various investigations. So automatically the treatment will come in your mind. So when you see, you learn better always. Just reading from the textbook is very tiring. So we want a relation to be set up between the theory and the practical approach. That's why we want you to take up these projects. And then, of course, the cost on medicines. Because being a government setup, the cost is very important. Now, since here the drugs are being given free of cost, so actually it does not matter. But in the private setup, the cost is also a very important concern. That's why the government is pressurizing to go for generic drugs rather than prescribing the brand drugs. Just hold on. Yeah, sorry, got a call in with me. Right. So, how you are going to attain the aim as well as the objective is by writing the case history of the patient. So, you are going to visit the wards. We will give you the various distribution, the number of students going to a particular ward, which unit. We will let you know later on. So, you have to note down the details of presenting complaint. Can anybody tell me what we mean by this word presenting complaint with an example? What it means when we say the presenting complaint. Okay, so somebody said the like chest pain on exertion, instable angina. What caused the patient to come to the hospital? Right. So, okay, what brings the patient to the hospital? That is very true. Okay, for example, abdominal pain, the chest pain. Yes, these are all presenting complaints. So, the very right. So here we are not looking at the diagnosis. Please don't write the diagnosis right now. We are just focusing on the complaint. Later on, we will relate it to something. So presenting complaint is the problem the patient is facing for which he has visited the doctor. Very right. So you have to note down the presenting complaint. Number one point. Number two, history of present illness. Now what it means? History of present illness. अभी तो कंप्लेंट है लाइक चेस्ट पेन है किसी को वॉमिटिंग है या एब्डोमिनल पेन है सो हिस्ट्री ऑफ प्रेजेंट इलनेस इज what we want to elicit and what is the rationale to elicit the history of present illness. Okay, so someone has written any similar episode in the past or treatment taken, similar complaints in the past from when the presenting complaint is occurring. That is the duration, the time lapse. Very right. So we want to know the duration of the presenting complaint. Since when the patient is having this problem, maybe there is a link with some other process. Yes, duration and time is very important here. Or maybe in the past he has experienced a similar kind of thing, but he have ignored without taking any treatment. So that is the reason the history of present illness is very important. Then comes the treatment history. It simply means the whether the patient has taken the treatment for this complaint or not. If yes, what drugs were prescribed? Because now you are going to prescribe some drugs. Maybe the patient is already that taking that particular drugs. So it is very important to elicit the treatment history to avoid any clash between the present prescribed drugs and the drugs which has all the patients have tendency to self medicate also, or maybe they will go to the chemist and tell their problems and the chemist will give them the drug. So it is being very prominent nowadays. No, not nowadays, since long the patients do keep on taking or self medicate, so it's very important to elicit the history. Then the examination part. So you are going to examine the patient, note down the vitals also, and the systemic examination. Then the investigations. If you think that some investigation or blood tests or other radiographic tests are required, it has to be undertaken and noted down in your project files. Then the treatment details. If the patient comes to the emergency, the patients of chest pain or acute abdomen condition usually land up in the emergency. So in the emergency, what the doctors do is to take care of the presenting complaint, right? So because it's maybe the patient land up with acute appendicitis, so very severe pain is there. So first focus is to take control of the pain, then to treat the underlying disorder. So what treatment was given in the emergency? You are supposed to note it down. When the patient is shifted to the ward, then what treatment was given in the ward and how it was different from the treatment given in emergency. And then when the patient is improved, that is at the time of discharge, what treatment was given. So you have to note down the treatment starting from the, if the patient landed up in the emergency, fine. You note down the treatment given in the emergency on a sheet of paper. On the second sheet, the treatment given in the ward, date wise. Maybe the patient was there for 5 days. So make a chart date wise and keep on writing the various drugs for each day. Then, when the patient is discharged, at the time of discharge, the number of drugs, the doses, and what drugs were given, please note it down. So ultimately, what you will do is observe, analyze, and rationalize the pharmacotherapy. So that is a whole objective. So theory we are teaching you in the department. Practically, you will see the patient in the hospital. Now, the relation you have to set in, right? And the PGs and the SRs are very much available in the wards. You will be in touch with them. So they are going to guide you also in that. Okay, so now practically what you are going to write in your project file. You can take a snapshot of it or just keep writing. So you will begin with the patient details. First of all, so when I say patient details, what I mean is the name of the patient. Please take a snapshot. So in this order, you are supposed to write name of the patient, the age, gender, the CR number, it is mentioned on the admission paper. The address of the patient, it is again mentioned, right? And also in some of the cases, we need to know the weight of the patient, which is not written in this slide. So it's very important as far as the treatment of tuberculosis or some other uh, disorders is there. So wherever it is available, and pediatric population also, please do write the weight of the patient. Then the occupation along with family details. Now here what the component which is missing is the diagnosis and the date of admission. So you are supposed to write down along with patient details the date of admission, right? Date of discharge, so that we will come to know the duration of stay, the diagnosis, and the birth history if relevant. Maybe during the delivery, the patient might have suffered some kind of CNS disorder or something, hypoxia. So, if some kind of history is there, please do write. So, you will start with the patient details. So, you will use one sheet of paper to write down these various headings. Now, this will be followed by the presenting complaints, which will come under the history of illness, and then the history of presenting complaints, since when the patient is having this problem, the past illness, that is, if the patient has any other comorbid condition or maybe the similar kind of episode, if the patient has observed in the past, you are supposed to write it down. Family history, history of any genetic disorder or maybe any disease which is running in the family. Usually the diabetes and hypertension, these kind of disorders do happen. So you're supposed to write it down. And the treatment history. Drug allergy is very important. And it is to be, let's say, if the patient is allergic to any specific drugs, do try to elicit the history. And if says the patient says that yes, I am allergic to sulfa drugs or some other kind of drugs or aspirin, so on the top of the case sheet with the red pen, that is to be written so that it is visible to the nurses as well as the doctors. Maybe by mistake they prescribe the same drug to the drug. So to avoid this situation, this thing is to be written with a red pen on the top of the case sheet. Allergic to such and such drug. So under the presenting complaint, we have discussed the patient might complain of pain in abdomen, some weakness, lethargy, chest pain and all. Then the history of present illness we have discussed. In the past history, maybe if the patient has got any other comorbid condition, family history, similar thing, personal history. Yes, another important thing which is not mentioned in the slide. Please do write the personal history what it actually means when I say personal history. Anyone? What you are going to ask or inquire in personal history, and what is the relevance? Okay. Somebody said smoking, alcohol. Yes, very right. Habits like, yes. Maybe vegetarian, non-vegetarians. This is okay. Fine. Yes, personal history, multiple sexual partners, right? Okay, that depending upon what he's complaining, allergies and also it's very important to elicit the history of whether his dietary habits, sexual habits, and alcohol and smoking kind of thing. Maybe that has got a link with the present disorder. So it has to be elicited, personal history. Then comes the examination part. Now, in pediatric population, let's see if you're taking a case of pediatric age group. So it is very important to elicit immunization history also in case of pediatric population, whether the immunization is complete, not complete, whatever. Then the development of various milestones. So that will be more relevant in pediatric population. In examination part, the most important thing is the journal physical examination. So I hope you're getting it. You will start with the patient details, followed by his history taking, history of present illness and all that. Then comes your examination part where first you will write about the journal physical examination. So what comes under journal physical examination? What comes under journal physical examination? Appearance. Okay. Matlab, you mean to say good looking or not? Gait, how the person is walking, height, weight. Okay. What else? Pallor, icterus. Yes. Vitals, temperature, pulse, BP. Very right. So, of course, first you will have a look at the patient. Just by looking, if you can find any prominent irregularity or something, that has to be sent, whether the patient is sitting comfortably or lying down comfortably in the bed. Then come the vitals. Yes, vitals में आपका pulse rate, blood pressure, respiratory rate, the appearance of the skin you can talk of, and then various signs like pallor, icterus, clubbing, cyanosis, and lymphadenopathy, cervical limbs, inguinal limbs. So you can have a look at it. So this all is a physical examination. So you are supposed to write it down whether pallor, icterus, clubbing is present or absent. Cyanosis is there or not. Lymphadenopathy is there or not. So this is all the part of physical examination. Once you're over it, then comes the systemic examination. So what comes under systemic examination? Systemic examination में हम क्या देखते हैं? What are the various systems, organ systems we focus on? Yes, respiratory, very right. CVS, great. CNS, CVS, respiratory, abdomen. Yes, the four important things. Very right. So, if it is respiratory system, we are going to take up inspection, palpation, percussion, and auscultation, the four important modes. Inspection, palpation, percussion, and auscultation. So write down your findings under these headings. कि आपने auscultate किया, so breath sounds were normal or not. Percuss किया, so what kind of sound you were hearing, and when you were on the palpation, whether the trachea was shifted or not. Chest palpation, inspection, whether the rib cage is in normal position or not. So all these kind of things to be noted down in respiratory system findings. When it comes to cardiovascular system, again, inspection, palpation, percussion, and auscultation. Whether the person is having normal heart sounds or some murmurs are heard, or maybe some crepitations because of pulmonary edema, right? Shape of the chest wall. So this is, or these headings will come under cardiovascular system. Same thing in abdominal examination, the inspection part, whether the shape is normal or not, all quadrants are moving equally with respiration. Then comes the palpation ward, whether the abdominal is soft on palpation, it should be non-tender, organomegaly hai ya nahi hai. So this is all should be mentioned under abdominal X. Then central nervous system, somebody was saying of gait and all, that will come here. Whether the patient is oriented or not to time, space, and everything, right? So time, place, and person, whether he's oriented or not, any limb weakness, how's the gait, so that will come under the CNS examination. Once you are over with examination part, then comes the investigation part. It could be biochemistry investigation, pathological, or radiological. Right. So the complete blood cell count, the CBC, is the most basic and the important blood examination which every patient goes through. Same is the story with LFT, KFT. Actually, these investigations are directed towards the problem the patient is facing. Right. Let's say a patient is having jaundice और उसको icterus भी है. Icterus आप कहाँ देखते हो? Which part of the body we see icterus? Sclera, very right. Fine. So if you are suspecting jaundice, what relevant investigations you will write? LFT, yes, liver function test, which encompasses AST, ALT, protein ratio, bilirubin, and all. So LFT is very important. And if the patient complains of pain during urination, or burning sensation during urination, so what relevant investigations you will write? KFT, kidney function test, urine analysis. सबसे पहले most important is urine routine microscopy or urine culture. Then you can go for KFT, that is urea as well as creatinine. Right, very right. So it depends what are the complaint of the patient, and you can write the investigation accordingly. Now a patient is having fever since last 20 days, and he is having weight loss also at the same time. And since last 3 weeks, he is having cough. History of cough for last 3 weeks, fever, and a history of weight loss. Kaha? Yes. So your suspicion is of tuberculosis. So what investigations you will order in tuberculosis? You rightly have written is sputum examination, CB, NAT, fine, and X-ray chest, right? So the sign and what I am trying to say, the sign and symptoms direct you towards the kind of investigations you are supposed to write. Very right. Okay, once you are over with investigation part and the examination part, so you have a diagnosis. You have reached almost near to the diagnosis. It could be differential diagnosis when you are not sure, or a certain diagnosis. So it is very important to identify the therapeutic problem as well as therapeutic objective. So क्या difference है इन दोनों में? What do you mean by therapeutic problem and what is your therapeutic objective? आप example देके भी बता सकते हो or otherwise also. Let's say a patient comes with acute pain in the abdomen. Okay, someone is writing complaint like chest pain is a problem. Okay, I take it. Problem is what patient present with, and objective is what is goal of therapy. ठीक है. So objective is how you are going to relieve that problem. how the patient is relieved of that particular. Yes, someone is to get rid of pain. Yes. So I'll give you a case, and you are going to tell me what is the therapeutic problem here, and followed by therapeutic objective. Please read down this case. A patient comes with a history of difficulty in breathing since last 2 days. Has a history of similar episodes in the month of March, for which doctor prescribes some medicine. The patient does not know the name of the medicine. Examination में respiratory rate is 30. Auscultation में rhonchi and wheeze is there. Diagnosis acute attack of bronchial asthma. So what is the therapeutic problem out here? Yes. What you have written is problem is difficulty in breathing, breathlessness. Yes. So the main problem is the difficulty in breathing. That is what your problem is. And you know the pathophysiology of asthma. You know the treatment of asthma. So what your objective will be? So here the therapeutic problem is difficulty in breathing or dyspnea. So what will be the therapeutic objective? Bronchodilation, easy breathing, prevent further attacks, to relieve dyspnea. Very right. So most of you are writing it correctly. To relieve the dyspnea, and how that can be done? By relieving the bronchospasm. Here, don't talk of drugs. When we say no objectives, don't talk of drugs. Just talk of what is a problem, how to relieve. The problem is breathlessness, and that breathlessness is happening because of bronchospasm. So your objective will be to dilate the bronchioles or to relieve the dyspnea. So that will be your therapeutic objective. Then once you have defined your objective, here comes the treatment. That if there is a bronchospasm, so what drugs are relevant? Right. So this is just an example. So you are going to write down the treatment details, that what treatment is given in the emergency, in the ward, and at the time of discharge. Then also the non-pharmacological one. ये नॉन फार्माकोलॉजिकल आपको मिलेगा जब आप डिस्चार्ज करोगे पेशेंट. यूजुअली यू आर गोइंग टू राइट दैट फॉलोड बाय द फार्माकोलॉजिकल ट्रीटमेंट. So then under the pharmacological heading, we have the journal, symptomatic, and if any specific treatment is there. So these treatment details are very much in the case sheet. What you are going to do is make a chart date wise and keep on writing the name of the drugs along with their dose given on a particular day. So that by looking at the chart, we can say how the treatment is changing from day to day. Maybe some drug has been added if the patient is not responding, or maybe the some drug has been dropped. What could be the reason of dropping any drug during the stay of patient in the hospital? क्या क्या reason हो सकते हैं कि पहले 5-6 ड्रग चलाई फिर 2-3 बंद कर दी? Okay, someone has written allergy. Yes, very right. Side effects. Yes, the ADRs. Right. And maybe, yeah, resistance is again very important. Or the drug is not efficacious. Yes, you are giving the right answers, or maybe the patient is not responding. And important thing is, on the very first day, a patient is admitted with bacterial infection and you have sent some blood culture or something, but empirically you have started giving some antibiotic. 2-3 दिन बाद कल्चर रिपोर्ट आ गया, राइट? तो आपको पता चला जो एंटीबायोटिक आप दे रहे हो उससे तो ऑलरेडी रेजिस्टेंट है बैक्टीरिया. So then again you are going to drop that drug and add some other antibiotic. So these are the various examples why the drug is dropped. तो ये सब क्लियर तभी होगा जब आपने एक चार्ट बनाया हुआ है और उसमें से इजी होगा to elicit. Similarly, a chart of vital signs can also be made. Date wise you can write the change in the temperature, change in the blood pressure, change in the respiratory rate, change in pulse rate, or maybe the urine output also. So it is very important to make a chart of vital signs so that the condition of the patient can be assessed day by day. ये सब case sheets में भी लगा होता है. Nurses keep on noting it down. Then comes the follow-up. in which you will go for a daily examination, the various investigations, the treatment changes, if at all. Was the treatment continued or discontinued? That is addition and deletion. So we have talked of this issue. Flow charts and tables, yes, we have talked of. If some students are more adventurous, they can make a line graph also of the vitals, if possible. ये टेम्परेचर कैसे जा रहा है, उसका इंक्रीज हुआ, डिक्रीज हुआ या स्टेबल है, एनीथिंग दैट कैन बी डन. So information regarding the patient change clinical condition as well as treatment. Maybe when the patient, the first blood sample was taken, the TLC, the total leukocyte count was, let's say, 17,000, or maybe the platelet count was just 40,000. So over a period of time, what changes have been seen in platelet? Right, अभी डेंगू का सीजन चल रहा है, so most probably platelet increase आएंगे या कम आएंगे patient में? If the patient has got dengue or dengue, what happens to the platelet count? Low, yes. So you have to monitor it. To monitor it, daily you have to take a blood sample or maybe alternate day. So again, if the chart is there, it will be easier. Same story is with the TLC count. If the infection is getting controlled, the TLC will start coming to the normal range. क्या normal range होता है TLC का? Anyone? Total leukocyte count normal range क्या है? 4 to 11. Very right. Yes. 4,000 to 11,000. True. Okay. So after this, you are supposed to write down the details of the various medicines which are being given in the hospital. So you will write the name of the drug, whether any generic or branded, what is the dose, what is the dosage form, the frequency of administration and duration. You can take a snapshot if required. Frequency of administration, dosage form की tablet है, capsule है, injectable है, whatever, at what dose it is being given, and the duration for how long. Then what instructions were given to the patient to take the drug before the meal or after the meal? Now you give me some example of any drug which is taken before meal, which is the prescriber instruct the patient to take it before meal or after meal. Any examples? Yes. Right. So, Sheetal, Vishwa, Shashwat, they are saying PPIs, proton pump inhibitors before meal. Specific हो जाए तो before breakfast. Very right. और कौन सी drugs after meal लेनी है? That means the drugs which are not supposed to be taken empty stomach. Somebody, Vishwa is writing tetracycline not with food. मिल्क के साथ अवॉइड करना है टेट्रासाइक्लिन को. थायरॉक्सिन बिफोर मील. आफ्टर मील बताओ, जो ड्रग खाली पेट नहीं लेनी है. ग्रीजोफल्मिन विद फैटी फूड, ओके टेकन. एंटी फंगल है, उसे फैटी फूड से एब्जॉर्प्शन अच्छा है. ओके, and please remember the most important are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. All the analgesics not to be taken empty stomach because they can cause gastric ulcers. So it's very important. ये क्योंकि मोस्ट कॉमनली प्रिस्क्राइब ड्रग है, तो इसमें इंस्ट्रक्शन देना बहुत जरूरी है. Then you will write that particular drug which is being prescribed comes under which group of drugs, whether it is a ACE inhibitor, a beta blocker, a proton pump inhibitor, whatever. So अभी हम ड्रग्स का बात कर रहे हैं. जो ड्रग्स हॉस्पिटल में दिया गया है, आपको उसके बारे में फाइल में लिखना है. Let's say 5 drugs are being prescribed. एक ACE inhibitor है, एक aspirin है, एक PPI है. So you will write the properties of that particular group of drug. Then what was the purpose of administration, why that specific group of drug was prescribed, and what other dosage forms of medicine are available. Then the mechanism of action of drug, Let's say if the patient is being given low dose of aspirin, maybe he is a patient of some coronary artery disease, so you have to write down the mechanism of aspirin for such a case. Then maybe if some kinetics are involved, absorption, metabolism, distribution, excretion of that per you can read it, write down from the book. बट आपको बहुत लेंदी मत करना कि 5-6 पेज आप सिर्फ ड्रग के बारे में लिख रहे हो. नो, at the most 2 to 3 pages you will write the properties of the drug, right? 2 to 3 pages मतलब total number of drugs मिला के 6 ड्रग अगर पेशेंट ले रहा है तो आपको 2 से 3 पेज में कंप्लीट करना है उसको. Then if any adverse drug reactions observed by the patient, drug interactions if seen, and food interactions. So this is all theoretical part which you can read it from the textbook and write it down. So you will write down the overall treatment given, the efficacy and safety monitoring, monitoring of therapeutic effects and unwanted effects, whatever, just write it down. Cost of the treatment. Now for cost, you can look at the website. Some 1mg or other lot of website are there. Then we have books like Drug Today and all to get an idea. So we want the total cost for the duration. सिंगल डे का कॉस्ट नहीं चाहिए हमको. अगर वो 7 दिन रुकता है, उसको 5 ड्रग्स मिल रही हैं, तो हर ड्रग का कॉस्ट कितना है and how it is being prescribed, that is the frequency. You multiply it with that, then multiply with the number of days, so that we will get a total cost of drugs being prescribed during the stay in the hospital. Then again, I'm requesting all of you to procure this book, that is Standard Treatment Guidelines, Delhi Government, DSPORD, Delhi Society for Promotion of Rational Use of Drugs. You can get the PDF also. I'll try to get it if possible, or you can take it from the bookshop. And then whatever the treatment was given in the ward and the treatment which is mentioned under this book, try to relate that. And if you find any differences, you are supposed to write in your project file what differences were there and what could be the reason of that difference. You can discuss with the senior resident in the various departments. They're going to tell you. So you are supposed to discuss the difference in the treatment, if any. Alternate medicines, if possible, try to make a list that can be used for this condition. ऐसा एक छोटा सा टेबल बना लो आप, efficacy, safety, dosage form and cost. It is not mandatory. And then you will write the references. रेफरेंसेस में आप जो भी टेक्स्ट बुक पढ़ रहे हैं जहां से आपने ड्रग रिलेटेड इंफॉर्मेशन लिया है, the important thing is write the references in Vancouver style. This is the style for writing a reference of a journal article or a book. ये आपको वेबसाइट से मिल जाएगा. You can take it. Okay, we have discussed this. What is the therapeutic objective? Write the treatment as per therapeutic objective. Write the pharmacology of medicines and the drugs given at the discharge. So how you are going to start? You're going to start with the patient details, the history of present illness. Then comes your examination part, both physical as well as systematic. Then comes your investigations, biochemistry, radiological, or whatever. After investigations, you comes the diagnosis. After diagnosis comes the treatment part. And then noting down of the vitals on day-to-day basis, noting down the treatment on day-to-day basis, changes, and then comparison of that treatment with the standard treatment guidelines. And lastly, the cost part. So hope you have understood the sequence. So when you are going to discuss the pharmacology of medicine, when you will be writing about the drugs, these are the headings under which you will write name of the medicine, to which class it belongs, the mechanism of action in current disease, the route of administration, its kinetics, dosing regime, adverse drug reaction, drug interactions, monitoring is required. Can you name some drug where we need the monitoring? Name some drugs where we need monitoring. वॉरफेरिन, सबने वॉरफेरिन थियोफाइलिन भी आया. यस, तो वॉरफेरिन को कैसे मॉनिटर करते हैं हम? पीटी, प्रोथ्रोम्बिन टाइम, आईएनआर. यस, वेरी राइट. एपीटीटी हेपारिन का होता है. Yes, lithium is another drug where monitoring is, but here we directly check the level of lithium in the blood. Warfarin के लिए हमें PTT, heparin के लिए भी हमें ऐसे ही करना पड़ता है. But drugs का जहां हम level directly देख सकते हैं, that is lithium, phenytoin, these kind of drugs. Antihypertensives में we don't, Vishwa has written antihypertensive. Means we don't need the therapeutic drug monitoring. Here we need just the monitoring. और एंटी हाइपरटेंसिव की हम कैसे मॉनिटरिंग करेंगे? बाय जस्ट लुकिंग एट द चेकिंग द ब्लड प्रेशर ऑन डे टू डे बेसिस. वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू चेक द लेवल ऑफ एंटी हाइपरटेंसिव इन ब्लड. नो नीड, बिकॉज एंटी एपिलेप्टिक्स भी कुछ ऐसे हैं जो सीजर का कंट्रोल देके गेस कर सकते हैं. एक्सेप्शन इज वैल्पोरेट एंड फेनिटोइन फॉर वेयर they have a narrow therapeutic index, so we have to check their blood levels. Right. So then you can calculate the cost of treatment, write the treatment during the stay. Standard treatment guideline किया है, उसका आपको standard treatment guideline में पढ़ना है और लिखना है. Guidelines क्या है treatment? Let's say somebody got enteric fever or somebody got tuberculosis or diabetes. So what is the treatment of TB or diabetes given in STG? You are supposed to write down in the project file. Then you write down overall observation about the treatment given, and do you agree with it? Would you like any changes? If yes, which ones? So you're supposed to write. So then the references. Now please note down, these are the list of cases जो आप पिक करोगे वार्ड से. ये वार्ड होंगे आपके मेडिसिन के या पीडियाट्रिक्स के. ये सब केसेस आपको मिल जाएंगे वहां से. प्लीज टेक अ स्नैपशॉट. ये अभी नॉन इन्फेक्शियस. एवरी स्टूडेंट विल टेक 2 cases, one infectious, one non-infectious. So you are supposed to make down 2 practical files. Not practical files, the project files. The folder up, you can take it from the bookshop, put the sheet, whatever, tie it, right? So here is a list of non-infectious cases like asthma, COPD, peptic ulcer disease, hypertension, CAD, that is coronary artery disease, myocardial infarction, CHF. ये CVS के हो गए. Then diabetes and its complication, you can go for diabetic ketoacidosis if some case is there. Epilepsy, both in adult as well as pediatric population. Anemia, maybe during gynae में आपको मिल जाएगा, pregnant population में. So here is a list of cases of non-infectious disorder. यही आपको pick करने हैं. Then you will be allotted a teacher. 20 students and so will be allotted a teacher. So before you go to the wards, you can talk to your teacher. He can suggest some changes in this case. Maybe you are getting some good case in the hospital. You can talk to your teacher concerned that if you're interested in taking that case, that can be done. Maybe a patient is having both hypertension and diabetes. So obviously you can take that. So then here is a list of infectious cases. Tuberculosis, leprosy, malaria, typhoid, pneumonia, meningitis, which can be tubercular or bacterial, that pyrexia of unknown region, वो भी आप ले सकते हो, urinary tract infection, amoebiasis or liver abscess. Liver abscess could be amoebic or bacterial, whatever, that can be taken. तो ये आपको थोड़ा सर्जरी में मिलेगा ज्यादातर ये वाला केस. meningitis आपको pediatric pneumonia, yes, pneumonia भी आप ले सकते हो. It is very much written here. So here is a list of infectious cases. So again I am repeating, each student has to take 2 cases, one infectious and non-infectious. यू कैन गो टू द वार्ड्स, फाइंड आउट द केस. आपको वार्ड कब से जाना है वो सब बाद में बताएंगे आपको. उससे पहले आपकी थ्योरी क्लासेस होंगी जो मेडिसिन डिपार्टमेंट लेगा. लेटर ऑन वी विल लेट यू नो. Okay, so before we end this lecture, I just want to revise the prescription part because it is very important. So अभी हमारी जितनी भी क्लासेस होंगी पी ड्रग की प्रिस्क्रिप्शन राइटिंग की, अगेन आई एम रिपीटिंग, यू हैव टू मेक अ सेपरेट फाइल फॉर रैशनल फार्माकोथेरेपेटिक्स. For rational pharmacotherapeutics, all of you are supposed to make a separate file. From now onwards, you will note down all the future P-drug exercises in that, all the rational prescribing exercises in that, all the prescription writing related exercises in that. जो पहले P-drug हो चुका है, उसको दोबारा नोट डाउन नहीं करना है, बस आप इंडेक्स में लिख दीजिएगा उनका नाम, P-drug exercises का the title, and just against that write it done in the previous file. That's it. No need to redo it. Right? So better make a separate file for rational pharmacotherapeutics. ये clinical cases से अलग बात हो रही है. It's a kind of information I am sharing. For clinical में cases आप दो project file बना रहे हो, एक infectious, एक non-infectious की. Okay. So if you look at, can you tell me the different parts of prescription? किसी को याद है? Anyone? If you remember the different parts of prescription. Okay, what this information is, this one. This is the prescriber's detail, the doctor who's prescribing the drug. So prescription may the topmost thing is the prescriber's detail. And we have discussed why this information is important. यहाँ पे उसका टेलीफोन नंबर होना बहुत जरूरी है. Then comes the patient details. The name of the patient, the age and the gender. Right? Along with this symbol, diagnosis and this symbol. So this whole part is called superscription. This whole part is called superscription. Just hold a minute. Yeah, the prescriber information, superscription, inscription, and subscription signa. Yes, so Yashi is talking about it. Very right. Abhinav also. Fine. So ये आपका जो part है, this is the superscription. Then comes the inscription. That is the drug detailing part. So in the inscription, what we write is the name of the drug, the dosage form of the drug, the dose of the drug, and the frequency. Can you see something is not right here? If you remember, we are not supposed to write these abbreviations. TDS मतलब क्या होता है इसका? Three times. Yes, but we are not supposed to write these abbreviations because the patient don't understand it. So better to write three times a day and make these kind of marks so that it is easy for the patient to understand. Then comes the duration of therapy, right? So the dosage form followed by the name of the drug, followed by the dose, followed by the frequency and the duration. So this is the inscription. Then comes subscription. Subscription is an instruction to the pharmacist Like you can see here written, no refill required. This is some, if the doctor want to give some instruction to the pharmacist, that will come under this part, the subscription part. An instruction to the patient is called signa. You can see whenever the fever is more than 100 degree, this is the instruction to the patient. So इसको हम बोलते हैं signa, SIGNA, not more than 4 times. So this is all instruction to the patient. This is called signa, right? So these are the important parts of prescription. The instruction for you should know how to write down the prescription. You will have some exercises also. So the important point is to write it or avoid any kind of observations. And prescriber detail is a must, patient detail is a must. Diagnosis आपको पता है तो ठीक है, नहीं पता तो it is not mandatory, but rest of the things are mandatory. Okay, so that is all for today's lecture. So most probably in a week or two, you will start going to the wards and take up the cases. The batch teachers will be allotted. So you can make a separate WhatsApp group, and any difficulties you are having, come in contact with your batch teacher and start taking up the cases. So आपका जो पोस्टिंग होगा वार्ड में वो सुबह 9 से 11 ही होगा, फिर 11 से 1 you will come to the department, right? We will all let you know जैसा भी होता है. Fine, thank you for attending. That's all for today.